Guided embodied meditation for musicians session. I'm Jennifer Roig-Francolí, and I would love to know if this video is working. So if you want to say hello, if you're on YouTube, I would love to know if this is working on YouTube, or if you're on Facebook, just drop your name in the comments and say hello. It's great to have you if you're here, and if you couldn't watch the live video, I'm happy you're watching the replay. If you have questions at any time, please don't hesitate to comment, or you can reach me through Facebook Messenger or email me easily. So, why am I doing this every week? I think this is the third week now, maybe even fourth. Can't keep track. I'm doing this because as a musician, I am very aware, and as a coach for musicians, I'm very aware of the many problems that can come up for musicians that can get in the way of their best performance. And through my experience as a lifelong meditator, I am 100% convinced, I know, that the problems originate in the mind. If you want to be able to make great music with effortless ease and fully embodied joy and depth of expression of all kinds of emotions, then you really need to be able to start from a blank slate. What I mean by that is a mind that is free of excess clutter, like negative thinking, worrying about what people are going to think of you, self-critical, over-judging thinking. That messy mind, like worrying about the next notes that are coming up that are hard, the messy mind gets in the way of the clear transmission of your musical ideas. Not only does a messy mind prevent you from expressing the ideas through the music, but it causes a mess in the body. And what do I mean by that? A messy mind is reflected by a cluttered body full of excess tension. Sadly, most of us are going around our days all the time with a level of tension that is really unnecessary. It's just too much. There is no judgment on that. We all had really good reasons for creating the tension in our bodies. There's such a thing as a fight, flight, freeze response. There's a startle pattern that is the body's way of protecting itself. And if you're a performer, you've probably experienced at some point in your life the fear of exposing yourself in front of other people when you play your instrument. So if you have that going on these days, it's worth getting curious about how your mind is connected to your body. And if you do have pain in your body, if you have excess tension when you play, if you're squeezing, crunching, raising your shoulder, or arching your back, or if you have tendonitis, carpal tunnel, neck pain, back pain, you name it. If you have physical issues, I guarantee 100% for sure that what's going on in your mind is part of what's going on in your mind, I should say, is contributing to that pain and probably exacerbating it. And if you've had an injury, it's making your healing slower than it could be. And in many cases, the pain doesn't even need to be there, but we kind of recreate the pain with how we're using our minds. So I'm not going to talk much more. It's so easy for me to talk and never shut up. So we're going to actually dive in now into the meditation for the morning. We're going to do, as I've been doing the last few weeks, we're going to do kind of 3 segments of meditation. The first one is really just checking in with yourself. And it's really bringing that messy mind back to the present moment and getting curious about what's going on in our bodies. Then we'll do something called TheCyCle, which is a Primal Alexander hands-free Alexander technique method developed by Mio Morales. TheCyCle is extremely powerful. I strongly urge you to find my cycle video on YouTube or in the Facebook group. I actually just created a new one because that one's a little outdated, so I'll be sharing that sometime pretty soon. And then to finish up with, we will have 5 minutes of silent meditation together. Because I do really think that meditating together, and I do consider this together, even though I'm alone in this room and I can't see you, I really feel the presence of, I'm not alone, okay? And you're not alone. We're not alone even when we're alone. So that's topic for another video. But I'm actually, good, just checking on my phone to make sure this is actually working. And if you want to just say hello, I can actually see the comments now, so feel free to actually just refreshed. If you want to post anything, go for it, and I'll check later as well. So let's pause for a moment. There's magic in just pausing. Pause for a moment and come back to yourself and ask yourself, what am I noticing in my body right now? Just listen to your body for a moment and see what shows up. See what it wants to tell you. It might be a little niggling discomfort. Like I'm just feeling, now that I'm curious, I'm kind of finding a little discomfort around my tailbone. It was broken many years ago, long since healed, but every once in a while it wakes up. If you have some pain, you might be noticing it in a specific place. You might feel great. That's wonderful. If you're noticing anything in particular, see if you can just have a healthy detachment from what you're noticing, almost as if it were someone else and you're observing that happening within you. So if you're noticing a specific body part, can you now get curious to find out what else is going on? Is there another place in your body that has something showing up for you? And I'm just seeing some comments here. It's funny, I can't see them everywhere, but here I see. Just need to refresh and then they show up. Hello, Mary. Hello, Kay. And hello, Kenya. I can see you're here also. Wonderful. Okay, so now if you're noticing some pain, is there a place where you feel a little less pain? Just get curious. What am I noticing about my body right now? If you're noticing easing in one place of your body, wonderful. Where else in your body are you noticing a bit of easing? So I'm going to just use the word now to indicate the next moment for you to get curious. Is there something else? Okay. Now. Now. What else is showing up? Now. Now. Good. Now let's ask this specific question. If you don't know this constructive thinking question yet, please make sure you have the exact words. You're going to hear it a lot today, so you might want to write it down if you're new to this. The exact words actually do matter a lot. Where else do you notice a bit of easing? Okay, and when you put it in the first person, ask yourself, where else do I seem to be easing a bit? Those are the exact words I want you to remember. Notice that the word feeling is not in there. Most people tend to substitute the word feeling at some point without realizing it. Warning, do not do that. There are good reasons why not that I'm not going to get into now. Where else do I seem to be easing a bit? When I ask myself that, my upper arms just let go a little bit. But I'm not going to dwell on that. I'm just going to ask again, where else do I seem to be easing a bit? My lower back just let go a little bit. Where else do I seem to be easing a bit? What's showing up for you? Again, if you have a lot of pain, don't worry. You can get curious about relative ease compared to a place with more pain. Right? So this doesn't mean you have to feel great, but it does help you feel great over time. All right, let's move into what we call the cycle. I'm not going to do the full tutorial. You can find that on YouTube or in the Facebook group. It's called TheCyCle. Just really briefly, what we're going to do is cycle through all 10 fingers one at a time, starting with a thumb. And you're going to hold the fingers really softly, gently, like this. And then rest your hands holding the thumb in your lap or wherever is comfortable for you so you don't have to hold up your arms. I'm going to count to 4 on each finger. After each number, I'm going to ask that question out loud for all of us. And over time, I'm going to shorten the question and eventually not say it at all, but I expect you to generate the question for yourself mentally. You can also say it out loud if that's easier for you, but ultimately we want to be asking this constructive question mentally. Now, the next thing about the cycle is we're going to do it a little differently from what we did before. The first practice we did is actually called ima. That means now in Japanese. Again, that's created by Mio Morales. It's a Primal Alexander awareness etude. Actually, it's a pre-etude to get technical. Anyway, the cycle is the very first etude of Primal Alexander. I teach this to all of my students. But we're going to do this a little differently from how we did ima. We're not actually going to be looking for anything in the body. We're going to lighten up a little bit, raise our thinking, and ask the question with curiosity. You're going to turn on the curiosity switch in your brain. And it's going to be a lighthearted, carefree way of asking. In fact, it's so light and so carefree that we don't even need an answer. It's like you're throwing this question up and out of yourself. You're throwing it out to the universe and you're letting it go. It's like a whisper of a thought. There's no intensity. It's just like you have these little words and they evaporate as soon as you've asked them. So that combination of a little bit of a spark of curiosity, asking the question and letting it go in an upward, outward direction, it works wonders. Okay, so that's how we're going to ask the question. So don't be searching in your body. If your body delivers an experience, you notice things in your body, that's fine, but immediately come back to this light, carefree attitude of asking the question. We're just going to ask it again and again. You can ask me questions later if you want to know more about this. Just put them in the chat or message me or send me an email. Okay, so let's do the cycle. Again, we're holding the thumb. We're going to count from 1 to 4. Here we go. 1, where else do I seem to be easing a bit? 2, where else do I seem to be easing a bit? Excuse me. Allergies. 3, where else do I seem to be easing a bit? 4, where else do I seem to be easing a bit? Index finger. 1, where else do I seem to be easing a bit? 2, where else do I seem to be easing a bit? 3, where else do I seem to be easing a bit? 4, where else do I seem to be easing a bit? Middle finger. Make sure you're keeping your eyes open for this process. I should have said that about ima as well. Having your eyes open is the best way to practice these. Again, there are good reasons for it, but I'm not going to get into it. So, middle finger. 1, Where else do I seem to be easing a bit? 2. Where else do I seem to be easing a bit? 3. Where else do I seem to be easing a bit? 4. Where else do I seem to be easing a bit? Ring finger. Let your eyes be free. 1. Where else do I seem to be easing a bit? 2. Where else? 3. 4. Pinky. Where else? 2. Where else? 3. Where else? 4. Good. Other hand, thumb. Again, when I trail off, ask the whole question for yourself. 1. Where else do I seem to be easing a bit? 2. Where else do I seem to be easing a bit? 3. Where else do I seem to be easing a bit? 4. Where else? Index finger. 1. Where else? 2. 3. 4. Middle finger. 1. 2. 3. Where else? 4. Where else do I seem to be easing a bit? Ring finger. 1. 2. 3. 4. Pinky. 1. 2. 3. 4. Good. So, check in with yourself. How do you feel now? If you compare your state, your overall state, from how you felt before doing the cycle to how you're feeling now, is there a difference? If you want to put yes in the comments or no, I'd love to see. You can even just put a Y for yes and for no. Whatever you notice is just perfect. Even if there was just the tiniest little shift, maybe you're just a wee bit calmer now. That's everything. Because it's not about the quantity of change, it's about the direction of change. And I see a C from Kenya, that's a yes, and a Y from Mary Himmer. Wonderful. That's great. Good. So before we do our 5 minutes of silent meditation, I just want to round out what we just did. Before we started, I talked about how for musicians, it's so important to be able to kind of clear out the mind and the body of messy thinking and excess tension. It's like doing the cycle declutters the mind-body self. This is absolutely essential for musicians to make really good music with flow. You can play really well with a lot of tension if you're good, if you've done your practicing, right? But you're not going to be able to do it with ease, right? If there's excess tension and clutter and intensity in the musculature. Also, it's just harder to move your fingers really fast if you've got tension in the hand. And if you have tension in the whole body, it shows up in the hand, in the arms, in the neck. It shows up everywhere, and it affects the quality of your sound. That's so important. If you want an open, free, flexible, delicious sound, if you want to love your sound is a reflection of you in that instant that you're making the sound. So you really want to give yourself the musician's advantage, so to speak, to get yourself set up for success before you start practicing, before you perform, before you start your day. TheCyCle is quick. It feels like it takes forever sometimes, but it's less than 3 minutes. It's really pretty quick. It's the best warm-up I know. And it's very deep, very powerful, even though it is really simple. It's the best, isn't it? The simplest, easiest thing is also the best and most powerful. So I really challenge you to do TheCyCle twice a day. Do it as a warm-up before you start practicing. And I guarantee that with repetition, you're building up new neural connections in your brain. You're connecting your mind with your body in the context of easing. And it's pretty amazing what's possible when you do this over time. And not only that, TheCyCle is the very first of the awareness etudes I teach, and there are literally dozens of those. So if you want to learn more, please reach out, message me on Messenger or email me at jennifer@artoffreedom.me. I offer private coaching, premium programs, and also an introductory 30-day course, which is really good, and I just updated it. I'm so excited. So let's now come back to ourselves, pause, and let's take approximately 5 minutes of silence together. And I'd like to put out the intention for individual, personal peace for myself and for each of you, and also for world peace and for the healing of our planet Earth, our Mother Earth. So let's connect our brain waves and heart waves together. And with everybody else who doesn't know we're doing this, we're all connected. So 5 minutes of silence, eyes open, closed, whatever you want to do, whatever you like to do when you meditate silently, go for it. And I'll sort of pay attention to the time. I'm going to have my eyes closed, so it'll be more or less 5 minutes. Okay, starting now. So that's the end of today's meditation session. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching the replay if you couldn't make it live. I am doing this every Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern, so meet me next Monday if you can. I don't know how long I'm going to be doing this. Maybe indefinitely, but maybe just a few more times. Who knows? My work is called The Art of Freedom. Big reason I call it that is so that I have the freedom to do whatever I want. So I want that for you as well. I think we're here to realize our essential nature, which is free. So thanks again for being here. Oh, Jessica's here. Hey, thanks for being here. Hi, Jessica. And thank you, everybody. Martin is here also. Thanks for being here. And Jiri, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say your name, but I'm glad you're here. Thank you. So be well, enjoy this, and try it out. I can't emphasize strongly enough how powerful this is. The cycle in particular, if you do the cycle before you practice, before you perform, and at least twice a day. I have my students commit to doing the cycle twice a day from day one, and that's why my students get amazing results. Their pain diminishes and often disappears, and their performance anxiety becomes more manageable, sometimes disappears completely. Anything's possible. So enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great week. And don't forget to keep checking in with yourself, pausing and wondering, where else do I seem to be easing a bit? All right. Lots of love. Bye-bye.